should you use junior or senior or other honorifics or descriptors such as colonel, pastor, reverend, doctor, captain? Do you want to use those in your tree? And if you do, where? That's really, really important. So today I'm going to go over some reasons why you may or may not want to use some of that information and where you absolutely need to put it. And then I also want to tell you a little bit more about some clues about where and how you're listing the names in your trees, because that can make a really big difference too. I'm Aimee Cross, and I am here to help you take your genealogy to the next level. And with the search functionalities now and the artificial intelligence that is helping you find records for your family, this is really important, so you need to stay tuned. I'm going to use Ancestry as my example more often than not. However, this information does apply to FamilySearch, to MyHeritage, really to any of the sites. And so you can transfer this kind of anywhere you want. All right, let's start first with junior or senior, because that's actually one that a lot of people argue about. Should you put junior or senior in your family tree? Well, one camp says no, because you don't really know. Are they really the junior or senior? Because to be a proper junior, you need to have the exact same name, right? Middle name, everything needs to be the same. And sometimes when we're doing genealogy research, we don't know that. Maybe they were given their dad's first name, but they were given somebody else's middle name. So that's something to consider. And sometimes maybe you're listing somebody as a junior, but really they're the third or the fourth. And you don't know that yet. So some people kind of get upset about that. Other people, it just helps them remember who that person is a little bit more carefully. It kind of keeps it straight in your head. And I have used it in my tree when I don't know whether or not they're a true junior or senior. And some people may say, Aimee, shame on you. And that's okay. You can feel that way. But my opinion has always been, it's your tree. Do what works for you. All right. So those are kind of the pros and cons about whether you want to use junior or senior. Now let's talk about where you'd want to put them. You have to put them in your tree in that suffix space. That is true with MyHeritage, and I've checked with them. It is true with Ancestry, and it is true, as you can see here, on FamilySearch. Why is that so important? It's important because it doesn't affect your search results or your hints. I should insert here that one of the things that can be really helpful in the records, and I see this frequently in tax records and sometimes census records, they will mark somebody a junior or senior on a tax record because there's two people by the same name living in the county and one is the son of the other. When you see that junior, that's a big clue to you that they are the son of that person. So yay for juniors and seniors in that instance. But they still may not be true juniors. That may be the third or the fourth. So keep that in mind. And FYI, you can put anything in that suffix field. You can put an emoji, and I've done that in my family tree. When I have somebody that has entered the United States, they are my immigrant grandparent, then I put a little ship so that I know that they have come into the country. But you gotta put it in the suffix space. You don't want to put it anywhere else under the name. You don't want to put it in their first name or last name anywhere. You don't want it there. Okay. Now, what about doctor or pastor, reverend, or colonel or captain or something like that in the military? You can do that in a couple of different ways. You can put that in the suffix field if you would like. Again, it's not going to affect your searches. But one of the things that I see a lot of people do is they'll put Reverend so-and-so, and they'll put Reverend and the first name space on their family tree. That totally messes up the AI search functionalities. You don't want to do that. But the problem is it can be helpful. It can be helpful in identifying when you have a couple of different people, knowing which one is the one that was the colonel in the military and which one wasn't. So that information should be in there somewhere. The question is, where do you put it? All right. You can do it a couple of different ways. You can put it in that suffix, like I just mentioned, or you can also put it as an also known as. All right. Now, that is important in Ancestry because also known as is not going to be searched at all. Now, this is where the other naming information comes into play. A lot of people will use somebody's nickname in quotes on their name in the tree. And I understand wanting to do that because it's the name that you maybe knew somebody by, or it's the name that they generally went by. In that instance, I would definitely list a secondary name for them in the tree. So you have their full name, which is in my tree, their preferred name, but you could flip this. So if you want to add another name, you have two options. You can either add them as also known as right here on Ancestry, and then you could type in whatever name they were known by, like Bill, all right? And you can add that to your tree. Or you can go here and you can add a secondary name. And you go down here to your event, and if you just start typing name, you'll see it down here. But if I click on that name, then I can add a name. So I could add Bill Harris here. And then you'll see that will show up at the top of my tree on Ancestry, and it's an alternate. Now, if I wanted to make this the preferred name, I would just click preferred right here and save that, okay? The also known as is going to be shown at the very, and I have a lot of things on this guy, at the very bottom of your tree. Now, this is also where I could add in if he was a Reverend. I could put it here. I could call him Reverend Bill Harris. And that won't affect my searching so much because I still have him as his regular name up here, or I could call him Reverend William Harris. I could also add an occupation to him. I could add an occupation by scrolling down to occupation. I could click him as an occupation. I can put in the date and place where he started becoming a reverend or whatever. But I could say that he was a reverend. If I don't have the time and place, then it will show up at the very bottom as well. Now on FamilySearch, you can add an alternate name right here, and you can have it be an also known as, or a nickname, or a married name, or another birth name. I hope this has been helpful to you. These are little things, but they can make a really big difference in the efficacy of your searching in your tree, and will just really honestly can be game changers for you if you're hitting a brick wall. So this video right here are some other clues on how to better search on Ancestry. You can go to my channel page to get more information if you're using FamilySearch or for other types of videos. I hope this is helpful to you. Have a great day.